Now this.
I gotta give a special thank you to my first endorsers. Bernie Sanders, the OG, who came in on day one. We're gonna build a movement that reaches out to everybody. Mike Rogers is a guy whose politics and vision and perspective are old. Is he MAGA? Is he neocon? Nah, man, he's just a corporate sellout.
Abdul El-Sayed delivering another big win for the Democrat Party's left flank, capturing Michigan's high-stakes Senate primary and opening up to new party infighting.
I mean, he has like a little man syndrome kind of energy. Yeah, well, I can't come together with someone if you are willing to embrace people that loves Hamas or that thinks America deserved 9/11. I think that's reasonable.
El-Sayed today called for party unity, even as he continues to appear with far-left activist Hassan Piker, who is now attacking El-Sayed's critics in vulgar terms.
Here's the take nuke for you, okay? You are all unbelievably Islamophobic pieces of okay? You literally called the dude a terrorist.
Our senior national correspondent Rich Edson is reporting live on all of this out of Belleville, Michigan. Hey, Rich.
And good afternoon, Sandra. Well, Michigan Democrats say they are united behind Abdul El-Sayed after his unexpectedly narrow victory over Congresswoman Haley Stevens. We were at a press conference earlier today with El-Sayed in downtown Detroit, where he acknowledged the pretty nasty primary he just went through.
You heard about the historic turnout. Sometimes, you know, intra-family squabbles are the biggest ones. But we all know that when we walk out the house, we stand united. And sometimes we got to have it out about the conversation about who we are and who we want to be.
Well, he had it out with Stevens. She released a statement today saying, quote, "I am proud to offer my support as he takes on Mike Rogers. Donald Trump and Mike Rogers want us to come out of this primary tired and divided so their billionaire backers can come in and let multimillionaire Mike Rogers walk away with this Senate seat." During their primary campaign, Haley Stevens called El-Sayed's rhetoric divisive and said that he wanted to blame all his problems on Jewish Americans, with his focus on criticizing Israel's government and AIPAC spending on this race. She also criticized El-Sayed for hanging out Monday night at a pool party with influencers like controversial progressive commentator Hassan Piker. Piker was also at El-Sayed's party last night. Referring to Piker, Stevens yesterday said, "We don't need demagogues or people citing allegiance to Chairman Mao coming into Michigan." Republican candidate Mike Rogers says on all this, quote, "The choice in November is simple, common sense or complete insanity. Abdul isn't just another liberal, he is an extremist." This morning, El-Sayed challenged Rogers to 5 debates in the next 13 weeks until Election Day. Sandra?
Rich, that gives us a lot to talk about. Thank you very much. John?
All right, Sandra, let's bring in Indiana Republican Senator Jim Banks. Senator Banks, great to see you this afternoon. So El-Sayed looked like he was going into this race running away with it with a 10.2% advantage in the Real Clear Politics average. But he beat Haley by only a single point. A lot of people are saying that that's almost a loss for El-Sayed. What do you think?
Well, yes, all of the pundits thought this race would be a landslide victory for El-Sayed, and it wasn't. But I think that's because Michigan is a blue-collar, working-class state. You have a lot of union Democrats, factory workers that live in that state that don't want to vote for a guy like Abdul Rahman El-Sayed, who wants to take away their gun rights. He wants to codify Roe v. Wade and overturn the Dobbs decision. He wants to abolish ICE. And a lot of the working-class families in Michigan, just like in Indiana and around the country, these families just want to keep these men and women just want to keep their families safe. And El-Sayed wants to abolish ICE and allow the drug cartel gangs to take over the streets of cities in Michigan. You look at the extreme positions that El-Sayed has staked out, and if he would happen to win in November, he would be the most extreme Democrat, radical United States senator that we've ever had. He would make Bernie Sanders look squishy with the positions that he's staked out. And already this morning, he's trying to moderate and change his tune, but look at what he said throughout the campaign. His rhetoric is dangerous, his policies, his positions are extreme and dangerous. And I have never felt better, up to this point, I have never felt better about Republicans keeping, if not growing, the majority in the United States Senate than how I feel today after watching El-Sayed win this this Michigan Democrat primary.
All right, well, we will see how it all turns out in November. But, you know, you say despite his controversial record, establishment Democrats like Debbie Dingell, moderate of moderates, say they're going to get behind him. Listen to what she said earlier today.
Abdul was very good at meeting with people, talking to people. We didn't see Haley that much, quite frankly. The kids can't even afford to rent, and the kids that are graduating can't find jobs. That's a problem. They want to make enough money to put food on the table, go to the grocery store. They can't.
Now, Debbie Dingell is a huge supporter of Israel, but yet she's willing to give El-Sayed a pass on all that.
Yeah, El-Sayed wouldn't even acknowledge and say whether or not Israel had a right to exist. But you hear Debbie Dingell and other Michigan Democrats around the country, they are afraid of the DSA wing, the radical extreme wing of the Democrat Party. And that's why they're going to support a very flawed extreme candidate to their own detriment. And this isn't just about Michigan. This is about the whole country and what the Democrat Party has become in America as we head into this midterm election. That's what this is all about, the extreme positions of the radical left versus Republicans who are trying to make life better for working class families, the Trump tax cuts, the work that we've done to bring down the cost of living in America, the focus on that, and these extreme Democrats are focused on just the opposite.
So, you know, El-Sayed was walking hand in hand with Bernie Sanders, but Bernie Sanders even goes so far as to say he does not agree with El-Sayed's position on 9/11, but he's still willing to back him. Listen to this exchange.
Piker has said America deserved 9/11. Are you comfortable with that association?
No, I am not. I think that's a dumb statement. On the other hand, he has a whole lot of followers, and there's a lot of things that he's saying that are making sense to a lot of people. I think, you know, we have to get above cancel culture.
Yeah, it's ironic because it was Democrats who invented cancel culture. And Bernie Sanders has got a track record, let's go back to Maine and Grand Plattner, of backing some very controversial candidates. But on certain issues, very important issues, he's willing to turn a blind eye, he's willing to look the other way just to win a seat.
Yeah, El-Sayed would be the most extreme senator ever. And contrast that with Mike Rogers, by the way. Mike Rogers is a patriot. He served in the United States Army. He served in Congress, dedicated his life to public service, served in the FBI, has an extraordinary track record, and barely lost in the last election to Alyssa Slotkin, who ran as a moderate. El-Sayed is running as an extreme DSA-type Democrat, a radical Democrat. That's a big difference. I have a great feeling about Mike Rogers winning Michigan and winning it in a big way.
All right, we'll see. The Real Clear Politics average at the moment, I know it's just a snapshot in time, has only got Rogers ahead by 0.3 of a percentage point, but we'll see. We got a long time between now and November. It is kind of rushing at us at 100 miles an hour. Senator, always good to catch up with you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, now this.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.